Hi guys, to everyone, it's Ada from Pause and Rock. Today we have Will from Luna Keys. First of all, how's it going?
Yeah, good, thank you. How are you?
Pretty good, a little bit with confusion between males and stuff, but it's okay.
Awesome.
So, before we start to speak about Luna Keys and all the recent release of Ivy, we start with the most common thing, which is your own musical background, Will. So, as everything started for you.
For me, as a
Yeah.
musician,
Yeah. Even
well,
the slightly interesting music.
yeah, I guess weirdly, I actually started playing drums when I was about 10.
Okay.
But no one in my local town played any other instruments
But,
other than another guy I knew who also played drums.
oh, the drum
So
sound.
so I was like, well, we need to play, and we need a guitarist if we're going to start a band. So then I picked up guitar. Um, and then met James, my drummer in the band now, Luna Kiss, at school, and we started a band. And
Okay.
then from there on out, really, it's just been music from about the age of 12. I'm 33 today, so it's been a long journey.
Today is your birthday?
Yeah,
Happy birthday,
it is.
darling. I'm so yeah.
Thank you.
If I knew we could just do it even tomorrow the interview, so we could be free to celebrate. So happy birthday. I mean,
Oh, thank you.
I'm older than you, so don't worry, we are all here. So yeah, so and then it was nice speaking about your being teenager and just picking out the guitar.
Yeah, so then like I guess the most poignant moment was when American Idiot came out, your Green Day.
Yeah.
What was that? What year was that? 2004 or something?
Or but yeah,
And obviously seeing like Billy Joe, uh, and Mike Dirnt and Trey, and seeing them, I saw them at Milton Keynes Bowl, and that really solidified my kind of obsession with rock music and performing and guitar-driven
yeah,
sounds, and just the fierce noise that
yeah,
uh, guitars make and rock music makes, really.
yeah. So these I thought this I said that kind of I don't want to say Green Day, but that was like the moment when you just decide by just I'm gonna move inside the rock music, rock world. But there has been other influences throughout your journey, musical journey, that maybe you make you kind of, let's say, a turning point in composing, turning point even in writing music.
Yeah, quite a few really. I mean, we've been going as a band since 2011. So,
Yeah.
as a band, we've evolved quite drastically. When we were at college, I mean, we all met, like I said, I met James, the drummer at
Yeah.
school. And then when we were, I guess, 16, James and me went to college. We met Chris, the other guitar player.
Okay.
Um, and around that time, I was really getting into bands like Pink Floyd and Zeppelin, which are obviously your kind of core, foundation rock
Yeah,
bands. And
exactly.
from there, listen to bands like AC/DC. So the first kind of incarnation of Luna Kiss was very much more uh, long 5-minute songs with big soaring guitar solos. And at the same time as listening to those bands and kind of I guess identifying with them musically, we also grew up around bands like My Chemical Romance
Yeah.
and Beautiful Friend, and I don't know, smaller bands like Thrice and stuff. And then you've got heavier bands like Slipknot. So that,
Yeah,
while Slipknot and Pink Floyd are different entirely, they're both
yeah,
quite
exactly.
theatrical in their own right. And
Yeah.
we've always kind of been influenced by kind of theatrical, emotional music.
That's a
I'd
good
say
perspective. Yeah.
today we're a lot more closer to the kind of
Yeah.
Green Day, My Chemical Romance kind of kind of it's more mainstream rock sound
Yeah.
than the Pink
Yeah.
Floyd sound,
Yeah,
but
exactly.
there'll always be parts of the Pink Floyd kind of grandeur in what we do,
Vibe,
just
let's
because,
have vibe. Yeah.
yeah, it's where we came from.
Yeah, that's I mean, everyone, like I said, maybe from our generation, and even because now maybe they go further to, I don't know, less band from the 70s. They go straight forward to the extreme, the polar, the opposite. Maybe we grew up throughout our parents or friends
Yeah,
with Led Zeppelin, Deep Purple, Pink Floyd. We all started from that, from scratch. Like, for example, our
yeah,
parents maybe started with, I don't know, Elvis, this type of music. And
Yeah.
you mentioned something that the band exists till 2011, and because
Yeah.
sometimes googling you just don't see that, just see immediately the release of Following Shadows in 2009.
Yeah. So
Yeah, because you
I
had a
guess
release prior. It was Echoes of Sound, is correct?
yes, we in 2013, I think we released Echoes of Sound.
Mhm.
Again, what I don't know how old we would have been then, 17, 18. So finding our way, I think what a lot of people of today don't realize, and especially like, like I say, we're 30s, apart from Harvey, our bass player, who's like 20. But when we started as a band, there were still these things called magazines for any of your
Yeah,
younger listeners, and there were these things called CDs. The
yeah.
internet wasn't as big, so to find your
No.
feet and your identity as a band, you literally had to just find it out for yourself. There was no TikTok video or YouTube
No?
video showing you how to be a rock band.
Exactly, exactly.
So Echoes of Sound was much more experimental, like I say, closer to Pink Floyd stuff. And then as we matured as musicians
There was
and just
MySpace.
people, we developed a different sound.
Yeah.
Following Shadows, again, there's some long songs on there, man. There's some 7-minute songs on there.
Maybe someone of you was listening to Pink to during
Still, yeah.
back then.
Um, but then more recent stuff, it's all much more commercial, kind of driven. And again, your
But
sounds
more
change and
catchy.
yeah, more catchy, more
Yeah.
hooks. You know, when we released the last EP we've done, which is the Lust for Blood EP 2022, that officially came out.
Yeah.
Everything had to be a hook, a drum hook, a guitar hook, a vocal hook, like everything. We were just obsessed with making everything really catchy,
But
you
it
know.
just was something that you chose, that to be like on the mainstream, like because we want to be, I don't know, to feeling the vibe to be like in the mainstream, or because you really genuinely like it, despite of.
Weirdly, I think our obsession, not so much mainstream, our obsession became with writing the perfect pop song, but
Okay.
not in the Ed Sheeran pop song
Yeah.
formula. I mean, like how the Beatles could structure a
Exactly.
perfect pop song, and some of their songs, Hey Jude and stuff, they're like 5-6 minutes long, but
Yeah.
they're still. Sorry, I just removed my plug. They're still
No.
like perfect pop song. And I think our obsession now, whether it's a 3-minute song or an 8-minute song, it's just developing just awesome song structure. And that's,
Yeah.
I guess, where the obsession is with us now,
Just
which
going.
I guess lends
Yeah.
itself to mainstream, right?
Yeah, but he might be. He wants to be in the interview, or she wants to be in the
Yeah.
interview. So it's not a problem. He wants to celebrate your birthday with you, and just keep the chance. But like, I mean, it's not a bad thing, like just looking for the perfect sound, or just like how this is. It has to be structured a song,
Yeah.
because it's something that can make even one single different from the other, and hold
Yeah.
each song different from the other. Because, like you said, back in 2017, 2011, 12, 13, there was, maybe MySpace back then. We had more
Yeah.
magazine. There was Rolling Stones. There were a lot of, just magazine out there. Not even webzine, maybe there was many. So even throughout MySpace, you had to really find out the niche, because it was such a wide place full of bands,
Yeah.
underground bands. So you have to find your own niche. And it was,
Well, also, like,
yeah,
we're coming from like the alt scene as well. I know, like we say about Pink
yeah,
Floyd and stuff, but like I say, our alt scene was like bands like I said, like Funeral for a Friend, My Chemical Romance. I can't think of any more. Like, you had so many American bands coming through to
yeah,
England on tour, Warped Tour, Kerrang XXV. So you were exposed to, like, you could have, I can't think of the most extreme example. Maybe like I saw a tour with Avenged Sevenfold headlining and Funeral for a Friend
yeah,
supporting. They're both hard, heavy bands,
yeah,
but at the time you had Seat of Evil's Avenged Sevenfold, which was heavy, but really
yeah,
quite artistry. And then you had Funeral for a Friend. There was still Screamo, but it was like more mainstream.
yeah,
But
exactly.
we all watched and listened to each other. That I don't think
Yeah.
that happens so much anymore, you know?
There's some mass. I mean, it. let's say there's now the music is really accessible to everyone, which is, I mean,
Mm.
it's good. It's good, but I think it lost the sense, you know, when even when you're losing, you were kind of in a CD store, whatsoever, music store, just getting lost, you know, having the which band is that? You don't know it.
Yeah.
But you just go to the cashier and buy it.
Yeah, and figure it out later.
Yeah, maybe find that there was a shitty band. Who knows?
Yeah.
But maybe you fall in
Yeah.
love with that band. You don't know.
But also, if it was a shitty band, you'd paid for the CD, so you're gonna
Yeah.
try and like it. Whereas now, if it's a shitty song on Spotify, you just skip it. Whereas I'll be like, this is crap, but I've paid for it, so I've got to find something I like about it.
Yeah, but that's sad as well. Like, it's a sad thing because people, musicians, pay fucking, you know, effort to do that song that maybe you're skipping. So just take a little bit of listen. So that's why, like,
Yeah, take a minute.
yeah. For example, you always release the just that's a question. If you just even as Ivy, you release it in on platform, but it's just one single. So this single is gonna be followed by other releases, I think, of single. So because right now there is this kind of a formula releasing just singles and maybe later an EP because it's easier for the streaming services, or you are releasing Ivy in let's say with the idea of releasing, I don't know, an album, in an EP.
Well, so we released Lust for Blood, the EP 2022, but don't quote me on this, but I think we started releasing it maybe either right at the start of 22 or maybe into 21. I can't remember. But we did five tracks on that.
Yeah.
But we released it like every 3 months.
Okay.
So what it allowed us to do is create a thread of like a musical thread where the themes and the production was the same, but it allowed us to give it more longevity in terms of a streaming release. Ivy is kind of the last embers of that sound and that kind of musical identity that we still needed to get out of our system.
Okay.
So it's kind of links more to the Lust for Blood EP than it does to what's coming next. But yeah, where we are as a band now, you have to just keep releasing singles. I don't think there's a space for the time and money that it costs to create an album. People skip it the same time that they skip a single.
Exactly.
But it costs 10 times as much to produce.
It's the same things about music video. That's the same thing. If you want to just shooting a music video, there's a lot of cost. Or you have a friend that maybe is I don't know, it's a video maker, something like that. You do some, but if you want something like real professional, that costs even thousands of whatsoever, you dollar, pound. And that's why many people nowadays are just going towards AI. Let's give the chapter apart. That I don't know.
Yeah, that's a whole new topic.
Yeah, but like I don't know. I mean, many people found it interesting. It is interesting because give you this, but too much in my opinion. Like, I prefer, you know, like the whole rough thing material that just hire a friend, just shooting with a good camera. Everyone right now has a reflex camera, mirrorless whatsoever, and maybe do an editing after. It looks quite professional as well. It doesn't take too much.
Yeah,
but there are always cost and time, like you mentioned. But of course, like you said, Ivy's out. But which is, I mean, okay, the sound evolved, and you already explained that. Coming, let's say, going throughout more, let's say, there is more research into the details. But speaking about the vibe itself, not many like the structure of the song. How much we can say the sound changed throughout all these? I mean, 2013, 11, whatsoever, until today, until Ivy.
I guess, like, from a lyrical point of view, it's a bit more abstract in 2013. Obviously, you know, and looking back on it, you're a teenager, so you have less to say and pull on emotionally. Sonically, it was all a lot softer.
Okay.
Whereas Ivy, Ivy, ironically, is based around kind of that naivety of your first love and kind of getting screwed over by that kind of young, probably more mature person who, you know, who wants other things, or is quite maybe a bit more what's the word, like, not dominant, but I can't really think of the word, but lyrically, it's about kind of your first love and that naivety that you fall into. But sonically, it's probably in some ways the hardest hitting song we've written.
Okay.
Production wise, guitars are quite heavy, drums are quite heavy. And vocally, I went to town with the harmonies. I mean, it was probably my favorite vocal production I've done.
Yeah, so Ivy, let's say we can say that is if you wanted to just, for example, suggest or advise whatsoever song to the people, the fan, or whatever. To
Say
the
that again, sorry.
Is let's say that if we want, for example, just to suggest to advise a song or whatsoever to the fan, to the people, to the listener, we can just say Ivy to go straight forward.
Yeah,
A single. Okay.
that's it. Right now, like you always love your newest song the most, don't you?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's a banger.
It's but like I said, it's let's say that you are kind of these excursus of you know, just the sound as well. But speaking about the live scene, I mean,
Yeah.
performing live, of course, you went throughout like being a teenager, so maybe started with the more, let's say, raw equipment. How much it changed as well, the performing live, and especially, how was the first time you put a foot on your stage?
I mean, like the first time we ever stepped foot, we were again, I'd never played a big stage before, I never played a stage before. You know, I'm the singer of the band. I didn't sign up to be the front man. I was just the only one who could sing. So would I say that naturally I've got the credentials to be a front man? Probably not. So over the years, I've had to learn where my safe space is and where I feel comfortable
Yeah.
connecting with an audience and confident connecting with the audience. And if I look back and I can remember our first gig, it was terrible. We were terrible. And I look back at that now and I think like to me now, stepping out in front of people and putting on, I do have a slightly probably I've built maybe a stage persona in my head that I can adopt to keep
Just
me
for that.
confident.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, image wise, we all wear black suits on stage now. It's a
Okay.
bit more theatrical for us. We feel like, you know, in many ways, when the suits go on, the band switch turns on, and we're, you
Yeah.
know, whatever our stage persona is, and wherever we can find confidence in it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. It's like kind of a no, it's not an acting. It's just like an extension of yourself, but that extension,
Yeah.
you just wear it and let's say wear it and being only when you're on stage. And that's
Yeah. I
why
think
can
you're
be,
right. You find those bits of you in
yeah,
your personality that you can use on stage and that you can develop on stage, and they might be more quirky or funny, or they might be more fierce. And I guess they're the most extreme parts of your personalities. Do you know what I mean? You can exploit the every element of them more, and that's what makes entertainment.
exactly. Because as well, like being especially as a frontman is different than being just the guitarist, the lead guitar, or the drummer. Is you have all the eyes on you because you're singing and you're there, so you have to build
Yeah.
really everything. But it gives you like, let's say, it can be like something that you feel like not fearful, but it's kind of commitment because you have to build this own persona. But I think it can be as well fun because you have this freedom of create and explore, like you were saying, so many things that maybe you never thought to to explore, and it gives
Yeah,
you as well
totally.
opportunity to switch. But of course, that's always you, and that's what sometimes people they forget. That's a human being on the stage. It's not just I like it. I know it's like if we think about even I don't know Robert Plant or you know these pillars. They are human beings. Of
Mm.
course, they if we think to Robert Plant on stage or Jimi Hendrix on stage, is they go with their own mind because that's the extension. So I think you can
Yeah,
understand being on stage, you just can really build this extension of you. So
yeah,
it got
100%. I agree with
yeah,
that. Yeah.
and of course like with and of course like I said that speaking always about the live shows with the release of Ivy, I don't know if you are thinking on or you already have planned some live shows or you will play live or I don't know there's or just enjoying about chilling the releasing of Ivy.
Yeah, we've got a few shows planned this year.
Okay.
But I mean, again, the live scene at the moment it's a tough crack. You know, it costs a lot to put on a show, costs a lot to promote a show, costs a lot to get people off their sofas
Yeah.
in England. I don't know what what it's right around the rest of the world, but England's a tough crack at the moment.
It should be the, I mean, it should be the easiest because it's all the almost all the worldwide music scene was stuck in so.
Yeah, but like when you've got like a really good coffee shop or restaurant in your local
Yeah,
town, so
yeah,
you never go to it,
yeah,
and then your friends come and visit, and they're like, "That coffee shop's amazing. You're so
exactly.
lucky." That's what England's like. We've got such
Yeah,
great bands and venues that we almost still forget that we're blessed to have this
yeah,
uh, on
exactly.
our doorstep, and then people around the world. They go,
Struggle.
when they come over, they're like either obsessed to go to these venues or our bands go over to different countries and they're selling out venues across the world, but they can't even sell venues on their back doorstep sometimes. It's mental.
And then there is people like me lost in the middle of the Mediterranean Sea that has to fly over the seas to see some band and pay
Yeah.
like money to go even to Milan, which is weird. But like you did a perfect example with the food. I mean, I'm in Italy. We have so many restaurants, so many places where
Yeah.
that even you forget which is the best. And people sometimes we just do, we just order food at our place. So it's kind of the same. We forgot.
Yeah.
And then they close. And then you guess why then the music scene or some, let's say, activities failed. It's because
Yeah, exactly.
yeah. And like you said, I mean, and that's like you said, but that's well known. Everything started from England, heavy metal, even
Yeah.
rock
Black
and roll.
Sabbath up the
Yeah,
road from me, Birmingham. So I live in the Midlands in Leamington, and obviously
yeah,
Black Sabbath, they
yeah,
all came from Birmingham, which is about, I don't know, 40 minutes from here.
yeah. Even the extreme metal scene,
Yeah.
Newcastle, Venom, you have all from there. That's the land. And that just to mention the historical one, I think Motorhead. Come on.
Yeah.
Decide
Lemmy.
that decide that Lemmy is God. So if the
Yeah.
God, so that's a. I mean, but I think there are guys around UK that are trying, always to push this scene. But it's not easy because you don't have any support from maybe organization or even the venue itself. Sometimes now we just prefer to travel. We have money to travel, which is okay, but as a band, I think you would like to tour around your own country as well at the beginning, at least.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah, for
Um,
sure.
because even now there is a beautiful scene in UK and in Holland with this kind of new movement, and it's always I see kind of an exchange of band. Recently, there has been a band called The Wolf touring in UK, which they're
Right.
amazing, and they are kind of exchanging band. Like I'm sending you that, and you're sending. That's how they work as well. For example, with the visa, but all
Yeah.
is a matter of organizer. Like of booking
Yeah.
agency. So they know this is all. If you are by yourself, it's not easy. You have always to knew
No.
someone and knew someone and knew someone. It's this world. So I said that.
Yeah, a lot of
Yeah.
it's just who you know, not what you know. You could be the best guitar player in the world, but if you don't know anyone, you're gonna stay in
Yeah,
your room.
exactly. But like I said, Luna Keys went. I mean, at least this Rust release, Ivy. I'm see that. I mean, I arrived in Sicily somehow, so it's going really good. I think it's traveling worldwide, so it's a good thing. But and
Thank
I
you.
wish you that you can be able at least to plan or get doing some touring if your own rhythm of life can do that. We can do that because it's good to see as well, like like new bands coming, new bands. Let's say new bands. Let's say we are already old, but once new band coming as well from other countries because we
Yeah.
are stuck always with a world already well established name. So we got
Yeah.
all the time and we had never had the chance to see live new bands if we are not maybe going to the underground scene, which is mainly
Yeah.
metal, to be honest. It's mainly metal or punk hardcore that. So let's say which are at the moment the current project for Luna Kiss.
Say again, sorry, you broke up then.
So which is the current project nowadays for Luna Kiss?
Project.
Yeah, current the current project. So what's boiling in the pot? What's the next step?
Ah, okay, I like that phrase. Yeah. So obviously we're just trying to get Ivy off the ground at the moment. But being a musician or an artist, you're always on to the next thing when you probably should be keeping to work the thing that's currently out. So we've obviously got a new songs
Okay.
lined up. We went and took a week in Wales, which is, if anyone doesn't know, it's
I
like a
know.
wet country
Yeah.
attached to this wet country.
I know Wales. Well, just always talk about Motorhead. Phil Campbell is from Wales, so
Yeah, yeah.
I just
So we took a week out there, took all our stuff to an old farmhouse and recorded there for a week. So we got another song in the works, which is slightly, I guess, leans more to like indie than it does to the heavier song sound like of Ivy, but it's still got some heavy guitars in it and some heavy epic chorus. So we've got that we hope to get out, but it's all time frames and stuff like that, really.
yeah.
Um, and other than that, it's just, just trying to
So,
build our band and get it to as many listeners as we can and meet as many fellow minded musicians as us and just
yeah, good.
connect with people, I guess.
That's all. That I think that's like no, I don't want to say the first steps, but in the 21 centuries, what year we are in 2024.
Yeah, 21, I think.
This is 2024. This is the easiest thing, the only thing we can do as being in the music scene, the music field,
Yeah.
whatever field you are, you have to put in the social media, which is unfortunately the only way to meet
Yeah,
people. And it's a
exactly.
good thing because it connects you throughout worldwide. So
Yeah.
from England, you could have a contact with someone, I don't know, in Canada, I don't know, booking agency, and it's
Mm.
easier for that thing. But when you have
Yeah.
to move, it's the problem. Everything is beautiful
Yeah.
from our home, everything it's easier. But when it's time to plan, things start to change. So that's the game when it comes.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
I wish you to be able to do this for you as a band. So let's say that we could see and hear in the near future a new single.
Yeah. We hopefully in the next we want to be a bit quicker with this one. So maybe in the next 6 months, another single,
Okay.
another music video.
Okay.
And yeah, just keep creating and see what comes out
Okay.
of our instruments and our minds.
And just let's say if really, because like you mentioned before, theatrical as a kind of an adjective, but if you want to keep that apart and use another adjective to define all Lunakis as a sound, as lyrics, as everything, persona itself.
Oh, I could just one. I could use a few.
Okay, you're allowed to use few.
Gritty, swagger. Um, oh, there are two main ones. What? Oh, classic rock magazine called us broodingly gnarly one time.
Okay.
I don't know what that means, but I like it. It's kind of
Oh,
like broody and um, I
it's
guess what we Lunakiss. It's funny because when we started out again listening to the bands we listened
yeah.
to, um, everything was very serious. Even till up at Following Shadows, we were a serious sounding band. And then one day we were like, we just take ourselves too seriously. So whilst our music is very emotional and dark in
Ah,
places and moody, we always try and have a good time, have a good joke, have a
yeah, I've
and
loved.
get some entertainment into what we do. So, like the new single Ivy, our music video, we got a load of snakes just because none of us like snakes. We thought it'd be good to break our fear. So we hired two snakes, and
Okay.
every time we do something, it just has to be amusing to us, and hopefully it comes
But at least
across that way to the
But at
listeners
least you
and the
won the
viewers.
fear. Did you win the fear of the?
Yeah, I really like snakes now. If anyone hates snakes, I recommend hiring some. You'll learn to love them.
Okay, that could be a good thing, but always be careful with that. Don't.
But be careful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe the next animal will be a snake that you will have in your own apartment.
Yeah. Yeah.
And everything started with a video. and then
Yeah,
you
that's
have
how it all
thousands of
started.
exotic animals in your house.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Chris is actually our guitarist. Chris has actually had lizards before, so he's
but
more into it.
open. It's more open about
Yeah,
that. So he was the
yeah.
one that suggested to bring the snakes in the video.
No, it's actually me,
Okay.
but because I thought, snakes, they're cool. Alice Cooper, snakes. He did
Yeah.
it, and he's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. It's Alice Cooper. Come on. It's like Lemmy. We can judge it. We can say nothing because they are them.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was your idea. But at least
Yeah.
the main thing is that you want. But I like as well like this kind of research that you're doing for the video clip. Like I said, it's important, gives you your own identity, which is not the identity of everyone right now, which is all generated artificially.
Yeah.
Even some big band, I don't get that. They have money, use that money for making good video. Because you want to see, because as a fan, as a listener, as a viewer, you want to see the band. We grew up with MTV, with all these video clips.
Scars, MTV, Kerrang.
You were waiting there on the in front of the television just to see our, I don't know, favorite artists perform, and just that video clip, even recorded with the VHS. It was doing the recording video.
Yeah.
Now it's everything accessible on YouTube, which is great, but just use it your own idea. Just put yourself in the video clip. You want to see the
just be creative. Just basic level, be creative. If you're not being creative, what are you doing here? Like that's what we always say. Just doesn't matter what the outcome of this band is.
Excellent.
If we've been creative, I'm going to look back on this and go, that was good fun, and we made some cool stuff.
Yeah, and as I think that's what in the future is gonna be mainly remembered, because if you always pay attention, what we have now are vinyl, CDs. There won't be in the future no MP3. I mean, I don't know, but in general, it's something about I still have those VHS with those video clips. It's and plus you have the file of the video clip. You have it. They always sticks with you. So why don't do that? Why don't try to do that? But so it was really a pleasure having this interview, and I was really happy to know as well Luna Kids as a band. And congratulations for Ivy. Please keep on going with your idea, being with this mindset. Never change. Don't use AI, please. Please don't do that. But looking forward for the next release, and still happy birthday.
Oh, thank you very much, and thanks for having me.
It was a pleasure, and enjoy your day.
Cheers. Bye.
Clouds got caught up in a carousel, but in this life I've learned that you can't treat me like an animal. I have my head